6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, it is time for the Bushcraft show.
Not the one I wanted to play, but I guess that'll work.
Well, we live.
It's working.
Let's see, give it a few minutes for BushyBot to come on.
Oh yeah, it'll take a few minutes.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna let you get caught up on your hellos. I'm gonna go get me well, hell, I don't have to do that. Never mind.
I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Red Friday.
Well, I'm
just now sitting down. I've been running all day. Unfortunately, went to the store.
Well, I was having a good day till I went to the bank. I withdrew everything out to pay bills again. So I got a little bit left, not much.
Yeah.
Brag on. But I was going through YouTube probably about 30, 45 minutes ago. I did not know you put out a clip earlier today.
Yeah. That's why I was talking about Tuesday, what I was going to start doing. I've got a post in my community tab where everybody can post a subject for me to do a short. And then I'll put a little banner across who did it and whatnot. And like the first one I picked, and I'm not looking at them or anything. I just do a randomizer thing, and it picks it for me out of the post. And it was for secondary heat, which I think is a good subject because most people, when they think about heat, it's their main source of heat. And you need, like, if it's natural gas, you need natural gas and you need electricity for the modern ones, unless you have raised heat, what is it called, where you have burners in each room or whatnot. But normally you need electricity to run the blower and stuff.
Well, a guy told me years ago, when matter of fact, quite a few years, he said the best way to find out what you need is wait till, like we having temperatures in the mid to high 60s, maybe 70s around here this coming weekend. What you need to do is during the day, when you are awake, walk over to your breaker box, throw your main breaker.
Yep.
And then that way, by the end of that day, you should know what you need to help survive.
I actually, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I did a challenge. I said to everybody, now certain things you don't want to turn off.
True.
Because you have freezers and refrigerators, or if there's somebody that needs to breathe, a breathing machine or something like that, you don't want to turn that off. But I challenge everybody to turn all their power off and just go 24 hours and, cook and, do dishes and entertain yourselves and whatnot, just to get a feel for it, and do that every month. Just do one day every month, and pretty soon you'll start getting used to it.
Well, one thing you do not.
It's Shift Kicker, the one and only robot that will kick your butt.
Well, see, the one thing you do
Come
not
here
want to
to
do
chew bubble gum and kick ass.
is if your power goes off. Let's get them all out of the way. Okay, is if you lose power, you don't want to dirty up no dishes. So go to the store, buy you some paper plates, bowls.
Why you can wash dishes with no power?
I like to see half of them try.
Oh, it's not hard.
Not for people like us.
All you do is heat up one little pot of water, and you fill it in about quarter way with regular water, and you pour the hot water in there and shush it around and get soap suds. And
well, see, like I said, for people like us, we can do it. But for people who's learning, the best way I would wash dishes like that is open up the trash bag and drop them damn things in there.
But how many people's wash their clothes in the bathtub?
Now, I've never done that.
I've had them, and it could be a metal tub,
5-gallon bucket.
Well, yeah, you change water too much with that, but I mean, I've went in there and did the little grape stomp thing and push my feet around and get soap in there. You clean your feet while you're washing your clothes. Oh. You wring them out, rinse them out.
Well, hey, in that case, we can wash the dishes and do the clothes at the same time. And take a bath.
I don't know about that.
Now, because my wife probably throw a sharp knife in there. What you could do is get you like a 5-gallon cooler, put your clothes in there, put a little detergent, jack your car up and tie it onto the wheel, round and round you go.
Yeah, and then the lid comes out and there goes your clothes.
Hair dry. But I've got, you know what? I think I'm going to Walmart. I got to get, like on a 5-gallon cooler, they got that little mash button that lets water out. I got to get one of them.
Yeah, those usually go bad, or the cap comes off. They have ones that you push the cap in.
That's the other one.
Yeah, usually somebody loses that.
Man, I have seen many 5-gallon coolers going down the interstate to where there ain't no top to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at it like this. You want to keep water separate, one for drinking, the other one, let's say, for sink bath or washing dishes or something like that. You don't want to drink your soap water.
Well, I mean, you do your dishes in the sink.
Yeah.
Unless you were out in a boonies somewhere, then yeah. But normally you just do it in your sink. You just put a stopper in there. Can't really do, if your power's out, you can't use the dishwasher. And unless you run your generator just to wash your dishes, and that's a little silly. Yeah, most stoves you can use without electricity. Now some of the newer ones have that where instead of a pilot light, they have it sparks, and some of those are electricity. So you may have to turn it on and use a lighter to light it up. And some of them, the newer ones that are digital and stuff, those probably wouldn't work either. Because there are some digital gas stoves that that you push buttons. I've actually seen them, which to me, I wouldn't have one. I would rather have one that has the knobs and all that stuff.
Well, now me and you before the show, we were sitting there talking about wood cook stoves. You know, if you got one, you thinking about getting rid of it, don't hang on to it. If you're in the market to buy one,
Well,
go ahead and get it.
And that's the thing. I've heard people say, "Oh, you can't run gas stoves on propane and stuff." I've done it. I mean, I've actually got a barbecue grill tank, gas tank, propane tank, and hooked it up to a gas stove, and it worked fine. It's probably nothing that you want to run in the house because it puts out more fumes and stuff, but it'll actually work for like canning and stuff. Because, like when I lived in the country, it was like a half house and half trailer type thing. And it get hot in there in the summertime, and there's no way I'm going to sit there and can in the house for all day because you'd be all roasted. So I set up a nice little outside kitchen to where I would do all the canning and stuff, and I had walls up that would block the wind and everything, a roof on it, and you just turn it on, and you don't have to be next to it, and you don't get overheated.
Shit, you get rich enough, maybe you can put a TV and a radio out there while you can it too.
Well, that a lot of people do that. They'll have like an outdoor kitchen, barbecue area and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's,
hello, Prepping.
now down south, it's a little easier. You don't have to worry about things freezing and water damage and things like that.
You ever live down here?
Oh, I've lived all over.
Yeah,
lived in Florida, Alabama, a few places in Georgia.
Well, now I know our winters are totally different than y'all's up north. Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and get that straight quick. But here, this last freeze that we had, about a week ago, man, we had pipes bust. You know, now it does get cold down here. It gets cold enough before the pipes will freeze in the house. You know, like that, or it will blow your freeze plugs out of your cars, you know, like that. I think our freeze line, now don't quote me on this, is like, about 6 inches deep. And I'm pretty sure y'all's freeze lines up there has got to be at least a foot.
Oh, no. You mean how far down you put your foundation and stuff, right?
Right. Water pipes. And,
yeah, that's 2 feet.
Is it 2 feet up there?
Yeah.
Well, see, now, it ain't nowhere near that down here.
Yeah.
Now, the last house that me and the wife bought, I think we lived there a week and had to end up having a new well dug. And they asked me, you know, how far I want to go with the pipe. And I asked him, I said, what's the freeze line? He told me. I said, put that damn thing 2 foot deep. They looked at me like crazy. But that's what they do.
Yep.
And it froze
18 inches in Georgia. Yeah.
Okay. But it froze up one time, and that's where it come out of the well. going into the house. That was the only place it ever froze.
Yeah, our well house was actually in the ground, and it was all insulated and everything. In wintertime, I would take the old-fashioned light bulbs, the ones that got hot, and I would have it dangled right toward the middle, and the whole top was insulated and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I wouldn't have any issues. There's one time that it kind of froze, and I just put a heater down in there.
Yeah. Now, I remember them days hanging lights.
But that's the difference between, because I see down south, everybody has their well house. It's above ground.
Yeah.
Up here, the majority of them are in the ground because it's below the freeze line. And it does vary. I mean, some people have their well houses above and they heat them and everything else.
Well, like I said, depending on what part of the country you live in is going to depend on your freeze line, frost line, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure down around Florida or somewhere like that, it ain't nowhere near as deep as what it would be here.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
Yeah, and there are different types of, there's spring houses, there's all kinds of different, there's cisterns, I think they're called.
Now that I'm unfamiliar with. I know what a spring house is.
It's more like almost like an old fashioned well, to where you had to.
Oh, hand.
Yeah, but they put a stump pump in there.
I got you.
And it doesn't hold as much water as a well that goes down 150 feet or something like that. Because there is a lot of water in, you got 5-inch pipe, 6-inch pipe, 100 feet of water in that. That's a lot of water. Plus,
a lot of weight.
Some of them will do this. That last bit that they drill a little bit deeper, and then they'll actually blow it out, and then let everything settle, and it'll get a big old open area down there at the very bottom. It all depends what kind of dirt they're in and stuff like that too. And I think we got pretty much everybody in here now.
Oh, we got 67 people. How many likes we got?
Uh-oh. Here comes trouble.
Super! It's all you can eat buffet.
Hello.
I've been doing a lot of research because I've been getting ready to do my normal first of the month type whatever there's going to be shortages of, and there's a lot. Pretty much everything that I've said over the last few months, but double that. One of the things, Heather, the needy homesteader, she sent me a picture from her grocery store that she was in. No bread. All the bread was completely gone. And really? She said, well, that's why I know how to make bread.
That's probably a good trade to learn how to make.
Yeah. It's better to learn how to make bread before it's too late than after it's too late, because How much yeast do you have in your freezer right now?
None. I don't have no yeast at all in this house.
Oh, I have a whole bunch. I've been
Oh, you should have yeast in your.
Yeah.
But you see, I can make hoe cake. That ain't no problem. All I need is self-rising flour and milk. That's it. Or water.
Well, that's got the yeast in it. The only thing is with that self-rising, it doesn't last that
Hey,
long.
look, it's Shift Kicker, the one and only robot that will
The
kick your
self-rising
butt.
stuff. That's
Shift
just like the cornmeal that the cornmeal that has all the additives in it to make it into cornbread and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a very long shelf life.
Well,
Because
now,
it's a chemical, and the chemicals die.
right. Now, the way I've always took it, if you're stocking up, you do not stock up self-rising nothing.
Oh,
You
no.
get your plant.
Yeah.
And that right there will last longer, but you've got to add your ingredients to it.
Yeah.
And that right there, some of that ingredients last 6 months? Oh,
if it's stored right, you can get that to last a lot longer. It just without it lasts way longer. You can, and I think Tim, didn't you say you bought some wheat or something like that you can grind up yourself?
Yeah, I got the red stuff, and then I got some other. It's got the hulls on it, which is gonna be a real bitch. But to be honest with you, at the very end, once all my flour stores are gone, and I literally have to grind it and de-hull it and all that stuff. I mean, at least I got it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can always you can store that for longer.
Wheat berries.
Hello, Lisa.
That's what they're called. They're the red and the white ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I didn't even want to buy them. Okay, they were a little on the wow, and I'm like, what am I going to do with them? And I'm thinking, but if it gets that bad, I'm going to be mad if I don't have them, right? So
yeah,
I decided I just better get some, just like the mung beans.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about that the other day, that a lot of people swear by those, but if you eat too much of it, it's actually bad for you.
Bad for you.
Give you the poopies and bloated and all kinds of stuff.
Isn't that one of the 7 deadly sins, gluttony? So we'll just not overdo anything, right? We'll not do anything in an excess, because you won't have enough to be an accessible for.
Jeff, do you know how to make what is it? The sourdough, the starter thing for that.
No, and I love that more than anything.
Well, it's really not that hard. It's just something that you have to
feed it.
You have to do it every day.
Okay.
And then I think after 2 weeks that you can just, and you can take some of that and make more. You know what I mean? The stuff that you skim off the top, you can put it in another jar and you got another starter going.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got one from the Mennonites here, and I was really good with it. I was using it, but the problem was the feeding it thing,
Yeah, it's got you got to.
I messed up. Yeah.
Can I address something right quick?
I didn't feed it.
I was told by somebody in chat to put my glasses on. And I have been watching it, and I think it's about 5 or 6 times that a certain person is wanting to tar and feather me. So all I got to say is I'm not told no blonde jokes yet.
Yeah.
Now, is that an invitation that you want me to tell a blonde joke?
No, because I'm actually blonde. For reals. Even though I'm a black cat.
Do you got a a video on that, Be Charming? Because those really old ones are the good ones. Now, I should say, is it a recipe that's old, or is the starter old? That's the question. Because you can. I heard that some have those for a very long time. The starters, they keep transferring it, making bigger ones, or you know what I mean.
Just give it away. They give up. Hey,
yeah.
You see that?
Because all you do is skim it off the top, and then you can make more from it.
I have no idea what I said last night. I can't even tell you what I said 2 hours ago. You see chat, Bushcraft.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already got it up there, Joe.
Yeah, but see,
it's probably slow in StreamYard though.
Raptor Ranch got a air fryer from their son, and the son was paying attention.
Well, see, there's one thing I need to find out. I need to find out if there is a Mennonite or an Amish store close to me. Now, I do know of one, but it's almost in Virginia.
Yeah.
Good evening, 101.
101.
Hello. Yeah, that's probably one thing on my, because I used to do it all the time, and I haven't done it such a long time. Now I have the extra jars and stuff, and I have the little burpers.
I gotta invest in that.
Yeah, but the burpers I have are for the bigger jars, but I end up cutting them for the smaller ones, which I didn't cut it that great this last time, so I got a little leakage of my honey.
Oh, what is that?
What are we discussing?
Turn your mic up.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say I can't hardly hear you.
I can't.
What are we discussing?
Oh, the sourdough starters.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't. I don't know shit about that.
Sound like you about wore out this afternoon, 101.
Well, after yesterday, and I did not go to bed until like 3 o'clock last night.
Oh damn.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We working doing inventory?
No.
Oh.
Just go back and watch last night's stream.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm trying to be positive here.
Well, I believe I will forget about tonight's stream and go to bed. If you can do that.
No. I don't do that. I don't just abandon you guys.
And I want to thank who sent me gifts and cards for Christmas and stuff. I want to thank you very much for that. I don't say who it is because I got a bad few people that I don't want to rub off to other people. So just thank you for the cards and gifts. I really appreciate it.
Now you're rubbing it in, ain't you?
No.
And there's some really good links in chat from Shift Kicker and for sourdough starter,
potato bread. Oh, I love potato bread.
I cannot recall.
Are we talking about the bacteria that make sourdough? Is that?
Well, it's really not that hard to make sourdough. It's just you have to keep at it. You have to feed it. And you have to skim the stuff off.
Well, the thing is, how they used to make sourdough in the old days was they never washed the kneading board, and the bacteria that would build up actually made sourdough.
Yeah, that was a different type of bread, though.
That wasn't
If you
sourdough?
no, if you want the big rising bread,
Oh,
then you want sourdough starter. That way, you don't have to have the yeast and all that stuff.
I should pull out my bread machine and
Yeah, I've got a bread machine. That's what usually I make my bread with, and a lot of times I'll have it mixing it and kneading and all that stuff in the bread machine, and then when it's time for it to bake, I'll take it out and put it in a pan and bake it in the oven.
I just bake it right in the machine.
Yeah, you can do that. It's just if you want it in a, because mine it turns out to be about that big and about that tall, so it's really big slices. So if you
Right.
want smaller slices, then you want to put it in a regular bread pan.
Well, talking about sandwiches in your house, huh?
Sandwich.
That's right. Now, me, the way I make bread is I just throw the buttermilk to the flour, put it in the bread pan, put it in the oven.
Well, about 6 years ago, I found this dude on YouTube called Artisanal Bread with Steve, and this guy was supposed to retire, and him and his wife were gonna go do the world travel, right? Well, she didn't make it, and he kept on his travels, and one of the things that he found out was he studied bread, and he's got one of the best no knead bread mixes, you guys. I've done it, it's proven, and I really like the old guy. Like, he's like
All
us.
I gotta say, if this dude's making that much travel, he better have a lot of dough.
Oh yeah, a lot of
Ba-dum.
well, he was gonna retire, I guess. It sounded like him and his wife had it really planned out. They were gonna enjoy the world and food together, and he just found out how wonderful breads were from different parts of the world, and he brought it back and started this YouTube channel. And but the whole thing about it, prepping 101, is I don't got time to knead.
I don't have time, period.
So this stuff, you literally just mix it up and you cover it. You walk away. It rises. You come back up, so many hours later. You punch it down, and then you kind of, a little bit of, playing like a little, Play-Doh or whatever. Put it back in the bowl, cover it up. It rises again, and you rise it right in the Dutch oven container you're going to use to cook it in the oven, and voila! I don't want to knead stuff.
Yeah, one of the easiest things to cook to make bread in is Dutch oven, the old cast iron one.
Well, remember a couple streams ago I showed that lady cooking in the 1800s?
Yeah,
She was doing the same thing.
yeah, that's the best way. And you put coals on top of it and buried it in there.
Yeah.
You guys are going to think I'm really weird, but 2 years ago I was in Marshall's and I found this cast iron Dutch oven that was shaped like a gigantic pumpkin. It was expensive.
We don't think you're weird, Tin. We know you're weird, and we
That's
love you.
true. Because I spent over $100 for this thing just so my bread. Yeah, just so my bread would come out shaped like a pumpkin, and it really does. It's shaped like a pumpkin. Cool. Okay.
Be charming. Can I do what?
A rustic bread with.
She's like, can you do it? Can I do what? Y'all confuse me. Y'all need context with your shit.
No, it's still good.
Can you fly?
Right. Can I do it? What? Well, it depends on what it is.
Can you bake a cake?
Cook in a Dutch oven. No, okay. I don't have one.
Yeah, I've been looking.
And I could understand the uses, but I have enough baking stuff, trust me. 4 generations of cooking. From my great grandma to now.
Yeah, but if things went bad and you had to cook outside for the rest of your life.
Oh, we have cast iron.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
Yeah, we just don't have every type of cast iron. Let me put it.
Yeah.
Did
I'm
you say
so
you do
glad
not
I
have
got-
a Dutch oven?
I'm stoked
What,
because
Jeff?
I got a pan.
Yeah. Tin just said she has one that's shaped like a pumpkin.
Pumpkin. So when the bread comes out, it's literally shaped like a pumpkin. And yeah, okay, I know it's very expensive.
You know what you call it when you cut up that bread?
What?
Pumpkin chunkin'.
Pumpkin chunkin'. Well, it's really actually a cool shape because you could make a bread bowl out of it and stuff. It just okay. I'm gonna be entertaining during shitheads of fat. Hey, look at my bread, shaped like a pumpkin. You can't find them anymore because they're extinct. But
Just spray paint them orange and it'll blend in. That way nobody will ever find your bread.
they're ooh yeah. Because who wants pumpkin? I'd rather have bread. And then Bill in chat mentioned that the no knead bread is basically a rustic, and it's not as good for sandwiches, kind of dense. Hey, you know what? At any point, if I'll be happy to have anything to make a sandwich with, if it's that bad, you know, I'll just cut it thinner, right?
Well, it doesn't poof up like a normal because it doesn't have nothing to make it poof up.
Well, there's yeast in it. I just don't need it.
No,
It's more of a flat bread.
There's no rise like the one Jeff is talking about. You just mix the ingredients without yeast or
It's unleavened bread is what it is.
Yeah, that's why it's good for soups and putting
It's like
butter
pita
on
bread.
or jam or something like that. But to make an actual sandwich, a good sized piece of bread and soft, not to where you like that.
Well, I mean, that's okay. In an SHTF situation, you're going to be happy to have a sandwich. I don't think we're going to be bitching about the texture of our bread.
Good point.
If it's a little tougher than normal, well, at least you have food.
Yeah, but that's where you make your sourdough starter, so you don't need yeast. You just make the sourdough, and
Right.
it rises itself.
Well, this guy, artisanal bread with Steve, he does all kinds. But the one I use is you add the active yeast to the bread.
Oh yeah.
Mix it all up, and then I cover the bowl and then go away for a few hours, come back, and you just literally punch it and turn it in, flip it over, and then I cover it again. Yeah, I guess it's not as fluffy as, but if you're doing soup, you want a denser bread anyhow, and soup.
Oh yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah, there's definitely different types of bread for different stuff.
Am I echoing? Everybody says
A little bit.
I don't really hear it that bad.
It's on and off, Tin. It's not so bad to where we can't understand you.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's something on my end. Like maybe I should go.
It might be Jeff.
Shouldn't be.
You got all your tabs closed?
Yeah. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, I have my. I always close my tab out now before I even jump on a.
Echo.
Okay, let me go. No.
Oh, it got quiet.
Oh, she was supposed to just drop down, not leave.
Lisa Anderson, I appreciate that link. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. And that's why I grabbed it. And I spent a lot of money on this book. It was so expensive. Unfortunately, I just had enough to pay for it. It was 25 cents.
I saw that at Sam's Club.
Okay, that's not better, is it?
It's a little echo.
Oh, yeah, there's an echo now.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a big.
Biggin.
Yes, remember, women like men with big bunkers.
Oh, here we go again with that shit.
I still have people every once in a while leave a comment. It must be nice though in your own bunker.
So yeah, it
I
is.
still don't understand how they can't tell that it's not a green screen.
I mean, I
How
got
much- how
chickens
much-
in the
You
chickens
got
in there.
chickens and a cat. Like, I get the cat maybe, but chickens?
When you gonna add some cows and pigs to it?
Well, there is not much room in here for farm animals. But you do know they used to bring their chickens in. They would sleep in their house with them.
Oh yeah.
That's what the Vikings used to do.
Yeah,
You should sleep with the pig.
any place that got cold, their farm animals were in. I forget, down south they had a house where you had like a porch in the middle of it, and you had farm animals on one side with your living areas, and you had the kitchen on the. I forget what the house is called, the type of house.
Is it like a log cabin type thing?
Well, you have one big roof.
I've seen that, yeah.
And you had two open area and an open area through the middle.
Yeah, it's like a hallway that goes straight through your house.
Yeah.
Well, when I was
back then, people used to sleep with like farm animals, like pigs.
Yeah.
And they also used to bring their wives to bed. Get it?
In 2007, we went to Playa de Carmen, and I decided to get up from the condo and walk a mile to the Walmart, right? So I decided to cut through the residential area of Playa de Carmen. And people were just waking up, and their chickens were walking in and out of their house. And I was like, okay, you know.
Why do I feel like that would be something that, like, Craig would do?
Well, he's already had his rooster in his house.
I know.
He done chicken.
Oh, Rabbit has a chicken in the house right now, and they think she has a cold, and she's in a kennel.
When I was living in Tucson, I had a 2-bedroom trailer, and the girl I was living with at the time, her parents bought her a chicken for Easter, a baby chicken. So we ended up raising that chicken, and it was full grown. It was it ended up being a rooster. It was a Long Island Red.
Shit.
And it was in the house for a good while until you just can't keep it in the house.
It just got annoying. And
well, they take dumps constantly.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
They're just like
it's
shit machines.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So were ducks and geese.
And we actually had him trained pretty good to go on a little square piece, and it had newspaper and stuff in there, and he would scratch around and do his dump right there. Then I ended up fencing the yard in, and he would run around the yard, which was just desert. But he would actually chase people. You know how dogs will run up and down the side of the fence when people walk by? He would do the same thing.
I've heard of guard dogs, but never guard chickens.
Oh, a guard duck.
Well, roosters are pretty mean. The only thing other bird that would be meaner would be a
duck or a goose.
Turkey.
I mean, if you really think about it, that's like a built-in alarm system too. Like if they start attacking someone, like they make a lot of noise.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? Like,
you want a good alarm system? Get you a bunch of guineas.
Could you imagine a bunch of
guineas.
robbers just running down the street as a chicken's chasing them?
Well, a rooster, they have actual spurs on them.
Oh yeah.
That will cut into you really good.
Yeah, I've gotten cut. That was the first and last time I held a rooster. I could have said something else, but that didn't sound right.
Just add some dumplings to it.
But yeah, like I said, there's going to be a lot of different shortages that we haven't seen before
You know, it's
coming up.
with the shortage thing. It still amazes me that I still see it today, like just every day, like at work. People, oh, it's fine. We'll be okay. We'll get through this. I don't know.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, if you don't mind spending the extra money for all this stuff.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. Like I was told today, if you want a raise, you got to quit bitching about the pay. You got to quit. You got to show them that you deserve it. Well, no, not necessarily. If I can't fucking make ends meet to continue my, adventures to go back and forth to work and so forth and so on, you know, there's kind of a base pay that you need to have to function.
It's hard to not complain about something you can't afford.
Right.
That's why I think everybody should have a list for the new year: wants and needs. What your want list and your need list, and you really got to go through it because.
Don't get me wrong, Tin. I have a want list, a mile long, but I don't have any.
Another 50 flashlights.
Well, I don't have the funds for the needs. Granted, yes, I did just buy a $300 pistol, but this is probably going to be the last one for a couple of years.
Yeah. Next one I'm saving up for is a.
Exactly.
Shotgun?
Yeah. Pump.
What kind?
Well, something that I can use for both actual hunting and.
You okay with a 20 gauge?
No, I like 12. I don't like
Uh,
the weaker stuff.
Get you a Mossberg.
Oh, here we go again with the great shotgun debate.
No, I mean that's me. That's what I got. I've not had no.
Give me a Remington 870 with corn cob.
The only difference between a Remington and a Mossberg is the price.
Well,
It
yeah,
does the
Mossberg's gonna be
same
more
damage.
expensive.
One does the same as the other one does, except for one costs more.
Right. Mossberg's going to be a hell of a lot more expensive.
I don't know about that. Hell, I could pick one up for right at 100.
Although last time I saw a 870 in store, it was $550.
No shit. If I'm gonna spend that damn much, I'm gonna get me an AK-47 12 gauge.
That was when I was. Oh, where was it? Was it Mayo up in northern Michigan when I was with my uncle?
So we don't have that.
It was like the only Remington 870 for like 100 miles. And granted, this is up in the country, but yeah.
Well, Maverick is made by Mossberg, right?
But Maverick, I don't think is necessarily 100% interchangeable in terms of parts.
No, but it's a whole lot cheaper.
Well,
and it's made by the same company.
That's kind of what I've got. I've got a H&R Partner pump, Henry and Richardson. It's an 870 clone, but in 20 gauge, and the barrel's different. And that's the only part that's different of it, which sucks.
Well,
otherwise I'd have an 870.
I think what it comes down to is when shit hits the fan, is your piece going to be easy to get ammo for?
Well,
let
me put it this way. I've never, okay, this is a 28-inch long barrel on this 20 gauge 870 clone. It's not a home defense gun, although I'm using it as such. It's just a long ass barrel.
Well,
You know me, I'm a pistol guy.
Right.
And yes, I have my single shot 18-inch, which is more of a home defense size. That's just to the utilitarian side of things. If anything, rifle wise, I have the 1022, which is going to do anything I ask of it. I would give anyone, I didn't read that, what? Anyone a fortune cookie, but cookies yeah.
They're too expensive.
ER says made in Turkey. Yeah, the single shot shotguns are made in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
I bought an Rock Island Armory one for $100. So to anyone that says they can't arm themselves and can't protect their shit on a budget, you can scrape together $100. I don't know, like even the poor.
Just scrape together enough money for a hatchet. There's a good home defense system.
And well, there's that, and
yeah, that too.
I can get one of those for $6.
I got one.
Exactly.
Oh, they're not $6 now.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, they're over 20.
Oh fuck.
Good God.
Before all this shit hit,
the foldable ones, so I don't know. Yeah.
Before all this shit hit, I could get one for $6.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh. I bought this one for $4.99 at Walmart.
Oh.
No one, no better than that to happen to. Bushy Bot. Lisa Anderson slapped nose picking with one of Jeff's farts.
That's a good one. Nailed it.
Thank you, Lisa.
That was a good one.
Yeah. But see, I know he's not listening to this. He had to step outside to get some air.
Now, I talked about the medicines and the cold medicines, Tylenols, baby Tylenols, and all that stuff. And the ADHD medicines,
right,
is another one that's going to be on this list. Any antibiotics, antiviral, and a lot of the real expensive prescription stuff, which the autoimmune stuff that I forget what it's called, but that stuff is very scarce, and it's going to be this way for at least 3 to 6 months coming 2023.
Let me put my 2 cents in here real quick. You can get cheap over-the-counter shit that will get you by.
If you can find it.
Well, if you can find it,
yeah,
it makes a world of difference. There's been multiple times where I've accessed my medical kit for my allergy pills, the anti-diarrhea pills, the pain pills, I have a fucking pharmacy in there. That stuff can make it bearable.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily cure the shit, but just getting those 3 things will help.
Well, what did our ancestors do before the drugstore ever come around?
They drank poisonous snake oil and called it like voodoo crap. So yeah, that's what they did.
Well, now I remember coming up as a kid, there was a thing you can go to the liquor store and get, but it was better homemade.
Yeah, because it had cocaine in it.
Hot toddies.
No, what was that called, Dixon?
Jack Daniels.
No, that helps too.
Moonshine.
I had you made it with moonshine.
Yeah. They're not a hot toddy because you can make that with any liquor.
Well, that's true. But this one that I'm particular talking about was made with moonshine, rock candy, honey.
I would say
You talking about your own cough drops?
No, not cough drops. It was a liquid.
Oh,
I would say that the reason our ancestors got by is because they drank a lot more alcohol than we do these days.
Well, they didn't
pure,
live
pure
as long
things.
as we did either.
well, there's roots and all kinds of stuff that's why if you see old movies and stuff,
ginseng
there's
tea is a
herbs
good
and stuff all over the place, roots hanging.
ginseng tea, if you can find it, is very good.
What?
Ginseng tea.
Ginseng?
Yeah, the tea.
Yeah, that's for other things.
Well, it's good tea.
He'll give me a ton of it then.
Well, not the root itself, but the tea that is made from the root.
Yeah, it's the root.
Are you sick, Donna B? You have got to be serious. I mean, kidding.
What'd she say?
Vet told me people are breaking their pets' limbs to get medications.
Oh yeah, that's
damn.
My
I
buddy
I'd have to slap somebody over there.
My buddy at work used to work for the Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit, and he got this one guy that was coming in here for like really strong morphine and like drugs and shit. And he's like, "Yeah, doc, I need this shit because I got this going on." They gave him saline. He's like, "Oh yeah, doc, I'm feeling really good." And then he's like, "We just gave you saline. Get the fuck out of here." That's how they detect a druggie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could sniff them out. I could smell you in the waiting room. In Seattle, I got trained on seeking, looking for drug seekers because the opiate thing was just really starting to come on. And we had to mark it in the charts. And so, like, literally, it was on the top of your chart when it was pulled out. The big red sticker, drug seeker.
Oh.
Yep.
I didn't know you're allowed to mark that kind of stuff. You just kind of
have to.
Nodded to the doctor saying,
nope, we marked it in the chart
Oh, okay.
And right on the chart, with the red sticker.
Yeah, they kind of have to these days.
Because you can actually smell them.
Well, I think the deal part of it was I was an undercover pot smoker at the time, and it wasn't legal, and I kind of knew if you were doing a little bit harder than what I was doing, okay, and then some of the things they'd come in for, you just knew, and you'd put that suspicion down, and of course the doctor would, they would be the one to say, yeah, it's time to label that chart. So as soon as you pulled it, there'd be a sticker that would be right there, and you could not miss it. But that was pre-computer too. It was, like, they were just turning over to computerized medical records when I went into nursing. It was brand new, and you had to learn it. Blah blah blah. I yield back my time.
What is this, Congress?
It just
I don't pay attention to that shit anyway.
It just sounds good. I yield back my time.
Huh?
Shit, I'm on around them druggies coming up. Yeah, I know what to look for.
Well, with this fentanyl or whatever, boy, these people get locked in those weird positions. How could you not know what they're on? Their body literally locks them into that over-hunched position. I don't get it.
Well, now, when I got out of it, crack was just making a big scene. That's when I was getting out of it.
Crack was different than the synthetically made things after that. Crack was actually cocaine that was locked down. It was straight the stuff. Now you got the synthetic things that came out after that, the crank and
Can we just make this point of we've gone from sourdough bread to hardcore drugs
Yeah,
in
well,
the last half hour? Can we not?
We need to get back on track to
yeah,
where.
let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Let's circle
Just
back.
saying.
Go ahead, Bushcraft.
Now, for y'all who's making bread, don't add this stuff to it.
That's not flour.
And it ain't dish detergent either.
But late last night, Bushcraft, after the live stream, Seattle News did put out that they were gonna. There was a this is the first I've heard in Washington about the eggs. So apparently, our largest egg producer over in Whatcom County, they got the birds got sickness, and they had to get rid of them. Well, I have
Here
the
we go.
second largest one by me in Eastern Washington, Wilcox. And but yeah, my husband said that when he went to go get eggs the other day for Jelly Bean, he paid $6 a dozen. And I'm like, oh,
It's just a Walmart brand, the cheap stuff. It was $6.47 today.
yeah.
I didn't get any, but
I'm over here paying like $3 and something cents for
It's
18.
time. Hell, it's time for me to go buy some chickens.
it's different in different. It depends how your chickens are and if they're being tested and stuff. If one bird out of that flock has it, they get rid of the whole
Well, yeah, because
mess.
they don't want to go through all the testing, and
Well,
it's just easier to kill them all.
Now, question on this right here. How high up does a drone have to be before you do not shoot it?
What do you mean?
What's that got to do with eggs, Bear? We were
Because if I'm raising chickens and I see a drone come in over my land, I'm gonna shoot it.
Well,
you have to go check your state law.
I was going to say, there's some times where you can't shoot them down.
Right.
Now, go to a channel called Wrangler Star. He's been around YouTube for the last 15 years or so. He had drone problems. People hunted him down and found his homestead with drones. And he got, not necessarily legal trouble, but it caused issues with the drones, and he shot them down, and like, yeah, big deal.
Well,
I actually used to have his phone number.
Wrangler Stars?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I got to know him when I first did my channel, because one of my biggest videos is when I do the Dollar Tree challenge.
Okay.
Because he's the one that started it, and I contacted him because at that time I didn't know how these challenge things worked or anything. So I contacted him and told him I wanted to do it. And if it was okay to tag him or put his link in my description and all that stuff. And he said, "Oh, that's great." And we ended up emailing back and forth a few times. And after I got the video out, he said, "Well, that was really good." And he emailed me back and he said, "If you ever need any help with your channel and stuff," which I completely forgot about it by then.
For you to get some like connection with Wrangler Star as big as he is, even though he's lost some people since he's moved, but
yeah,
that's cool.
Well, he was like 20,000 at the time, if that.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was young.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was about 7 years ago now, I think it was, because that's when I first had my channel, and then I put 3 videos out and it got hacked and they locked it down.
Yeah.
So I completely just gave up on it until a couple years ago, and then I'll start it back up again.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So, I'll be right back.
But he is a real nice guy. I mean, he will talk your head off, though. We were talking about something he had in the works for doing another one of those types of videos, and I thought it was going to be a 5-10 minute conversation. It was over 2.5 hours talking.
Good God.
Yeah. And he was telling me about when he wanted to, he had another property. It was by a river or something. And he was wanting, he was thinking about sectioning it off and selling parts of it. But yeah, it just got one of those conversations, just keep on talking and whatnot. But yeah, he's a real nice guy. Every once in a while I'll comment and he'll recognize me.
Oh, okay. Ken Beach Armor wants to know you going live tonight.
I don't know. I haven't talked to the crew.
Where's Jay at?
I sent him the link in our room, and he might be just waking up. I could call him and say, "Hey, what the fuck? Where are you at?" Let's see.
Yeah, one of the weird things that I keep coming across now. This year there has been a lot. That's one was kind of talking about it yesterday about them getting a lot of carpenters and contractors that were applying for warehouse work. The reason why this is, people are having these houses built, can't afford the cost of the lumber and the material and stuff, or can't get the material, so they can't work. And there's it's like 52 or 57% of the houses that got started are not finished because they're just there because they got abandoned or they ran out of money. They got foreclosed on before they actually got finished. And one of the things that it's popping up now is concrete. There is going to be a major shortage for cement and concrete.
Really?
A major shortage. So if you have things that you're going to
cement,
yeah, you're building something or you have plans of doing it in the summer or something like that, you may want to plan ahead of time and get that stuff now.
Well, what, a bag of cement or saccrete is what, about between a couple of dollars to $6, $7 No?
Ooh, no.
Big time?
Yeah, I know somebody that's it's more closer to $20 a bag.
Good God.
Yeah.
Damn. That's 5 bags, paycheck, shot all to pieces. You better learn how to pack mud then.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I found that's really odd because I don't go searching for non-food stuff unless it's important stuff like medicine and stuff, because that's some of the things that's been popping up a lot. And again, tomato products, and a lot of it's due to the cold weather and the no water in both regions. Mexico's having droughts and stuff down there. Of course, they're blaming global warming stuff again.
Now, I've seen a couple of ads that saying Lake Mead is starting to fill up again. Is that true, or is that just somebody trying to get ratings on their channel?
Far as I know, it's not. I mean, it will a little bit during the wintertime because of the snow. Once the snow cap melts, then you get that. But if you don't get the snow, they won't get no water.
Okay.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
Okay, good.
We were talking about the concrete and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, he said.
And another one, it sounds really odd, is sand.
Hell, go to
Yep.
coast.
Well,
well,
sand, it's the supply chain for sand is has been really bad, and they say it's going to be even worse this coming. And that's some of the things I don't tend to look at because it's not food. I try to
I got some news on that. So in Africa, I know you're like, wait, what's Africa got to do with this? They are actually running low on sand in South Africa. They're draining their beaches dry of sand by the truckload, trying to either develop South Africa or send that sand to us to do our shit. And it's causing a massive shortage. And just for the record, that's like some of the purest sand you can get in the world.
Yeah, it's not like you just go over and go to the ocean and dig up.
Right. But it's good for, I guess, their type of sand is very good for making concrete. So,
Yeah. Hell, it's time to open up a business in the desert, ain't it?
Well, that's not sand. It's not considered sand. Desert is not sand.
what is it then?
Exactly.
It's powdered. It's really dried out dirt.
Oh,
And sand is different than what you find in the desert.
dirt is mud and sand is rock.
Yeah, pretty much. It actually has crystal and from rock.
Right.
Hello, Lake Fairy.
Yeah.
In your room.
Holy shit, lakes here.
Yep. Jim pretty much nailed it right there.
What's that?
Very fine sand.
Oh, yes.
And same with grit.
Same.
And another one is bottled water. Bottled water is going to be very, very limited. You're going to start seeing you can only buy one case of bottled water because the one website I look at is it's what the major grocery stores and stuff they get all their prices and they get their inventory from it and things like that. So they post in that there's a shortage on something, so they want to start limiting it to so many cases to each store or something like that. And one of the things that they're talking about now is reducing the sale of it. So one person can only buy 2 cases or 1 case or whatever it is
at that store at that time.
Well, at the branch.
You want to talk bottled water? I see people at Sam's Club leaving by the cart full.
Yeah.
They put out a new pallet, it's gone in 5 minutes.
Well, the thing is, there are some people thinking that I kind of don't like talking about this stuff, but they are giving us the stuff in our water. And there's a lot of talk about that kind of stuff.
You're talking about the jibby jab?
Yes. Yeah. In our water supply. So a lot of people are buying up all this bottled water, thinking, oh, they wouldn't put it in the bottled water, but they'll put it in our pocket.
They put it in there quicker than they would anything else.
They put it in before they even gave us the
exactly.
Coke.
So that is that could have something to do with it, or there's some that think that the sickness is in the water
I could see that one.
Mm-hmm.
because we have some old dude that hasn't cured AIDS for what was it, 40 years or so.
Rock and rye.
And he's the expert on. I won't even get into this dude because he knows everything about it because he built it. I'll put it that way.
So if you're on an artisanal well, you should be fine for a little bit, maybe.
Well, that's the thing. It's if they can put it in public water,
you got to remember.
How are they not putting it in the sky to fall down in your raindrops?
Well, you got to remember.
Oh, they are.
You got to remember that a well is supplied via groundwater. What about all the time somebody leaves a hose on? What about all the time somebody, dumps a bucket of water out and got that from the tap water? That gets into your well. Slowly, yes, but it is eventually you'll get there.
And how much of the bad, whatever bad it is, or even if it's not what everybody thinks it might be, how much of the bad stuff can't be filtered out by
it's very difficult to filter out chemicals in water.
Yeah.
Without binding agents and other crap.
Yeah, because look at all these movies about these companies that bury a certain waste underground and it leaks into the water system. It doesn't get it doesn't get filtered because it's not meant to be filtered. It'll go straight through all that kind of stuff.
What were you saying, Jeff?
Well, now, what woman was it who had her rainwater tested and her groundwater tested? The groundwater come back fine, but yet her rainwater come back, I can't remember what it was, but it had a chemical in it.
Well, the groundwater is protected by the ground.
Right. But for this to come back in the rainwater, which came out of the sky to begin with.
Right.
It's from that Happy Cloud company that makes clouds.
You also have to remember that in order to get pure water, you have to be down at least a minimum of 25 feet. And when you put your plug in the water, the tube, it has to be a minimum of 2.5 feet below the surface line in order to reach the pure stuff, okay? Because all stuff that floats to the top will be within that first 2.5 feet, and anything below that 2.5 feet, give or take a foot or two.
Depends how wide it goes out,
right,
too.
It depends on, right. So anything below that is sediment and, other crap. So you want to have your pipe right in the middle of the water supply rather than top or bottom.
Well, now, whoever dug the well in my backyard hit a friggin' river because from the top of the ground to the top of the water is something like about 16 feet. Then from the top of the water to the bottom, it was about 180 some feet.
Well, as long as you're 2.5 feet below the surface in terms of where your pipe reaches, you're fine.
Oh,
yeah. When because it's an actual pump that you put down in the
water
in the tubes or where the pipe, and you don't stick it all the way down to the very bottom.
Then
you go up. Yeah, and that all determines how much your flow is.
Yeah.
So they test it they'll actually have a gallon jug, and they'll see how fast it gets filled up within a minute or whatever. How many you get filled up within a certain amount of time. Right. So they'll determine where to put the pump or where it gets sucked in. And they'll determine where to put it.
Now I know down here we keep ours about 2 foot off the bottom, like that. I don't care if it's 400 feet till you hit water, or if it's 40 feet till you hit water. You know, they'll let the pump go all the way to the bottom, and then they'll back it up 2 foot. And I think ours is something like 30 gallons per minute, something like that, which is pretty damn good.
Mine was at 12 feet, 12 feet from the bottom.
We replaced it last summer, and it was something like half horsepower.
Damn.
And that ain't bad. That's damn good.
That's why I said damn.
Yeah.
It's a good pump.
Well, it was a quarter, and he asked me what I want in there, and I said, put a half in there. He looked at me like I was crazy. But, I mean, the last place we moved from, it wasn't even a gallon per minute. And my opinion, that's some of the nastiest tasting water I think I ever drunk.
Oh, I remember when I was up at my uncle's. Like, we turned on the tap and it smelled like sulfur. It's like, how the hell can you stand a shower in this crap?
Yeah. Well, you get used to it. People in that area get used to it.
You won't even smell it eventually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't you smell the sulfur if you shower in that stuff?
No. You eventually you won't even taste it.
No, I get tasting it, but I'm saying to shower in it. You know,
you get used to it. Yeah.
You don't smell of it?
Nope. Oh, somebody else might smell you and say, "Oh, that's weird smell."
Here comes such and such.
But you won't because you're in it all the time. You take baths all the time.
Right. You wash your clothes in it. You eat it. You drink it. You cook with it. You get used to it.
Right. I get that. That's fine. What I'm saying is, like, when somebody would actually smell, like, if they weren't used to it, they'd smell it on you, right?
Right. It's like somebody burning wood for wintertime.
Yeah.
You know, after a while, they won't smell it. But you go to a public store like Walmart or somewhere like that, other people will tell, hey, you heat the wood, you know.
Or in Detroit here, it's when you don't smoke weed, you smell it constantly.
Yeah, we had where my grandpa had it's just an old shack where we lived, and on top of the hill they had a lake, and there was nothing, no fish in there, no life basically in there because it was from an old coal mine. It was just where it was all dug out and filled in with water, and it was all sulfur. Sulfur would leak up through the the ground. But when I first went out there, whoo, that's awful smell.
Yeah.
But eventually I never even smelt it anymore because I just used to it. And in a coal mine area, people just got used to the smell of it. Nobody, unless it was an outsider came in, you would never smell it.
I understand that. It's, I don't know. It just.
Well, there's some incredible things about sulfur because a lot of your medications are sulfur based. And up in Washington State, there's a lake called Soap Lake that nothing can live in it because it's so sulfur filled. But the sand and the silt is so black, and they make all kinds of soaps out of it. In the early 1900s, people used to travel to Soap Lake during the summertime, and they'd lay in the lake for hours and days, and they would do this because they had such a bad eczema, skin problems. They'd literally travel to Soap Lake and spend their whole summer up here in Eastern Washington at that lake because of the sulfur. So like some of your drugs, your sulfur drugs, like amoxicillin, no, not amoxicillin. Hang on, I gotta look up my sulfur drugs. I don't remember them, but yes,
isn't there one sulfa?
It's a sulfur drug. Yeah, it's made with a sulfur base.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is back in the day, it used to be really good. Well, then they came and they put the Columbia Dam, the Cooley Dam up, and it changed something in the lake, so it's not quite as sulfury, but you still can't. There's no fish that grow in it, and you do not want to take a motorized boat in it. It'll just screw up your whole engine. But yeah, I actually went up to Soap Lake because it's about 20 minutes away, and I went to their commerce, little area, and I went in there and I wanted to learn about Soap Lake, and I saw these amazing pictures, and I picked up a book, and I just thought, wow, and back in the day they called those sanitariums. Yeah. Yeah, that's where you went to get healed. It was called the Soap Lake Sanitarium. Yeah. People.
Jeff just hugged himself.
Oh.
Bear truth, Gabe. Bear truth.
Keep your hands off yourself.
Okay.
My wife tells me that all the time. The name of that homemade cough medicine I was trying to think of, you can go into a liquor store and get. It's called Rock and Rye.
Oh, okay. A cough medicine. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
that's what you were talking.
Yeah, they consider that cough medicine, but
yeah,
when you
rye
drink enough
whiskey.
of it, you don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But I still think homemade and Jack Daniels and Everclear is better than what they're using.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, good old rye whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I mean that. You get a bunch of onions and stuff in that, and
I don't know about the onions, but I know coming up, Daddy had to go to the liquor store at least twice a week.
Well,
was it to go get milk?
My grandpa used to make this concoction. It's a hot toddy, but he would put onions and garlic and some stuff that he found out in the woods, and
now I thought.
Speaking of hot toddies, like my manager or my supervisor told my manager that he's been sick the last couple of days. He told him, go get a coof test and don't come back without a positive or negative result. You're sick as a dog. And then he's like, I need a hot toddy.
Well, now what is that they used to do? They'd wrap it around your mustard pack.
You know me and mustard, Jeff.
I hate it too, prepping 101. So we're in the same.
That was with mustard weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
actual mustard.
Well,
but
what mustard's made of it, but
a dog would not even come around you.
Can you blame him?
Hell no. And it sounds like you ain't never had one.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't do that
not
stuff
to my
anymore.
knowledge, anyway.
You'd be very lucky. I tell you, if you want a day off of work, walk in his job site one of them on.
That's just like if you cut a really thick onion and wear heavy socks and put it on the bottom of your foot and go to bed. When you get up in the morning, that onion will be black because it drawed all that stuff out of you.
It's not. That's a myth. It doesn't actually.
No, it's true. I've done it many times. Had that onion feet.
Oh, doesn't it make your feet stink?
Well, probably.
I mean, more than normal.
I don't think onions stink though.
Oh,
damn.
I think onions are good. I'll eat them raw or cooked or whatever.
I like onions too.
Yeah.
I just don't like mustard, yellow mustard.
I can't stand
Oh,
onions or mustard. Both of
I
those
don't
things.
like mustard.
I will gladly go without.
Wait a minute. Nose picking compared to your head, Texas is probably the size of Rhode Island. It says I gave nose picking a Texas headache.
Nose picking. I love you.
Yeah. Do they really sell that with? I don't even know if you can actually say that word, but yeah.
What?
I didn't know they had that stuff with that ingredient in it.
Well, that's codeine. That's not coke. The rest, you know, there's codeine is a different thing.
That'd make you go to sleep too.
Well, in Mexico, if you know what you're treating, you just walk into the pharmacy. They got it. They'll sell it to you.
Well, that's totally different laws down there, Tim.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like if you get sick, we might all have to run to the border. We're going to be jumping our border to get to their meds and their health care.
Hey, Ken, if we was to jump our border into Texas and slide back in, do we get all the money they get?
No.
Oh.
No, you're already a citizen.
Well, wait a minute.
You don't matter.
Yeah,
if you jump this border, renounce your citizenship, and then jump back, do you get the money?
There's going to be a bunch of taco commercials gone.
I don't know. Reparations, remember? Yeah, California reparations. Oh, yeah, and they want it in gold and silver bullion. They're smart, you know?
Now, is there a certain type of whiskey or just any kind of whiskey?
Well, the thing I was going to say, depending on what you have, because sugar is actually bad for you.
Yeah,
because it'll actually feed a virus. Because my grandpa would actually use honey instead of to sweeten it. He wouldn't use sugar. I never knew why until I here the last probably 10 years that I found out that sugar actually will feed.
Well, honey's got binding agents to it, like it sticks.
What about turmeric and ginger?
What about it?
I mean, now don't that help cure common colds? And
not necessarily just one thing. I think that F water
really depends.
It's a combination of a lot of those things plus the onion and
Yeah.
Okay.
They used to have people that put those recipes out on YouTube, and boy, they stopped that stuff back in. I think I noticed it about 2018 because I'd looked it up in 2006.
Yeah, they really hit the herbal medicine channels back then.
Yeah, wasn't it about 2008? It seems like in the
it was just before the coup hit.
Yeah, about
magically,
a year prior.
You know how coincidental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought that was kind of odd, but I was really interested in looking up.
Let me see if I can find her channel real quick.
Can I just make this point real quick? Is it? No. I know I brought this up last night, but it just seems like people are not people anymore. And I know that's like, well, duh, prepping, but I don't know. Society has really drained me mentally and physically lately. I don't understand the world I'm living in anymore. Some things seem very untouched and unchanged, and other things are like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, there's one channel that I really liked a lot, and then all of a sudden she got in trouble and she didn't post anything for a good while. Wise Woman Tradition. Tell you anything about any herbs or wild edibles and stuff. I'll go ahead and post her link real quick.
Well, again, they don't want that shit out of there because
yeah,
pharma.
Right. It's taken away from them.
And she turned down affiliates with bigger companies that sold all these types of things because she would go out and say, if you need this, this is what you look for, and be careful. And she would actually show you the bad part of it, because normally every good plant, there's a bad plant that goes.
Like a
So
rhubarb.
And like, if you do come across a bad plant, usually the cure is either part of the plant or it's another plant nearby it. They tend to grow together.
yeah, like, well, see, I call it something else. It's people call it jewelweed. I call it waterweed. If you know what stinging nettles are, it's another word is called itchweed.
Yes.
If you look around, if you get in the mess of look around, there's what is called jewelweed or waterweed, and you just wipe it on you, and it takes away the sting, and it's always right next to each other.
Does it pull the little stingers out of you?
No, it neutralizes them. It stops the irritation.
But you still gotta wash off the needles and crap.
No, it's not
the little fuzzy bits that get in your skin.
Yeah, it's more of an irritation thing.
Oh.
It's not like you can pull out the little stingers or anything. Because you can actually the nettles they're edible, but you just can't go and eat it. You have to boil it or rub it over fire or something to break off the
those little stinger
things. Because it won't hurt you. It just irritate your throat when it goes down. But yeah, a lot of stuff it's usually in the same area. And that's what I liked about her. She would find the stuff that she was looking for, and then she would look around and find the bad part of the look-alike that was the bad part of it. And she would show you, well, this is what you look like, and it has she would say, look at the stem or whatever the case would be, and she would go through it with you.
Right. She was actually properly educating people, but
yeah, and not say, "Oh, this is what you go out and look for." She wouldn't, and that's the thing. You get these books. I think I have one somewhere. Yeah, a lot of times you'll get these books, and this is green, so it's not going to show, and it tells you of the wild edible that you can eat. A lot of the books won't tell you the bad version of it. And that's one thing you go to look at. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah.
People
you look for the bad version of it.
People seem to forget that really everything we need is already here. It's just they don't. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want us knowing about it. Because if we knew about it, then we wouldn't need them.
And that's where most of the medicine comes from. It comes from plants like that.
Right.
They'll get the properties, and then they'll actually start synthesizing it.
Artificially making it.
Yeah, and it's not as good as the original.
No, it never is.
What's your thumbnail on tonight? 101.
Huh?
What's your thumbnail about tonight? In other words, what's the topic about?
Well, I'm okay.
If it's flashlights or Star Wars, I'm out.
No.
It's a
I want to try. I want to try to be more positive at work and shit. Okay. It's very, very difficult for me too, because the way I've been seeing society crumble, it aggravates me that shit has not changed to help the people. And I basically saying, let's hope this next year's, or try to make it better for people. You know what I mean? It,
Mhm.
I don't know if I've had a delusion up, or if it's just me going semi crazy here, because I feel like I am sometimes. Like I said earlier, part of it's going on as normal, like nothing's changed, but yet other parts are just absolutely fucked beyond belief. Um, and I'm like, at work, I'm like, they don't understand what the people are going through. They don't care. They just don't. Nobody cares. It's every man for themselves. And then they wonder why I get pissed, or why I fly off the handle and say something I probably shouldn't, or whatever. Um, and then they're like, "What's your problem? Why are you so upset? Or why are you always in a bad mood?" Like, do you all not see what the fuck is going on? Like, please. It's like I'm being called crazy, but really I'm not. It's right there in front of them. They just don't want to see it,
Right.
and it's driving me nuts. So I'm gonna try to make this coming year a better one. But it's very hard for me to be nice to people these days, because nobody's gonna be nice to me. So why should I be nice to them? At least in person. Y'all are cool and shit. Y'all are fine.
Well, of course we are.
You get what I'm saying? It's
Hard
very rare
knack.
that you find it's very rare that you find nice
And
people
we
these
will
days.
make
Oh,
America great again.
Oh, by the way, I wore that hat, my MAGA hat, to work
thank you,
today.
Debbie, for the sub there.
I I wore my MAGA hat to work today, and
Well,
oh boy, did it create a. Why are you wearing that hat? Oh, he ain't nothing but this. Blah 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 blah. I just looked at him like, yeah, go ahead, say what you want to say. So yeah, that's my day. That's my life. That's our lives. That's what's going on.
Yeah, I'm seeing that all over. A lot of empty shelves now.
Oh, and then I heard on the news tonight, which is, take it for what it is, they're saying, oh, there's going to be layoffs.
duh.
Well, you remember what I said last night? They're like, are you afraid you're going to lose your job? It's like, no, but it's like, what are you, like, what are you getting at here, It's like, on one hand, the news is saying people are going to, uh, lay off people. And then on the other hand, I've got work saying, please stay, please stay. It's like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on anymore. I can't
They're screwing
comprehend.
with your mind.
Yeah, that's what it is. I can't understand what's going on. And that's I think what's been bugging me, and that's why I didn't sleep last night, is because I can't process it. I don't understand. I don't know where to go. I don't know what square one is anymore. I don't know where we're at. I can't give you a update on things because I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore.
Yeah, you need to stop trying to get a square
Figure it out.
peg in a round hole.
Yeah,
Well, no, it's
You're
same.
not going to figure it out.
you're
It's
not. Or none of us are. They didn't even
people are
figure it out
the way
during
they are.
20s.
No, I get people are the way they are, Bushcraft. What I'm saying though is it's um uh
Trying to figure out what is making them that way.
well,
It's
no, it's I've given up on convincing people. It's I don't know what more I can do to prep. To what am I supposed to be prepping for? I don't know anymore. Um, anything and everything, and it's driving me nuts.
Well, try not to think of it as a big thing. Think of it as one thing at a time.
Well, that's what I've
Um,
always done.
you prep you put a jack and a tire in your car because you prep for that.
Yeah.
You having a go bag in your or a get home bag in your car just in case your car breaks down and you have to walk.
Okay, again, I know I can't change people, but and yes, I've been called crazy before, but lately it's been getting to me. It's like y'all just people don't see it, and it's gonna bite my ass, and it's gonna bite their ass when this shit hits.
And and like I said last night, it's an age thing. I think
well,
Yeah.
it's
you
not
get a
just
thicker skin as older you get. Is like,
Yeah.
oh,
You get to
okay,
see
he
the
don't like me.
opposite. Yeah.
well, no, I'd have no problem not being liked by people. It's not an age thing, and it's not any one individual. It's on the other hand, work is telling me, we got to have you to stay. Okay, am I staying in this job and riding this bitch out and things will get back to normal? Or are they just telling me to stay to reap the rewards as long as I can, and then when shit hits the fan for good, they're gonna be like, "Oh, well, you're all fired." You know,
Yeah.
I can't read what's going on
Well,
in my small
You're
little
starting to
bit of
crumble prepping, and you're in a very niche little thing that you will most likely survive through it, because I did through the 2008, because I was managing one of those companies. Okay.
do what now?
Um,
Say
just
again?
stay where you're at. What you're doing is something that they have to have it. Like you're,
Well, right. We
you know
got
what I mean?
right
And
when
so
we had
you'll be able to ride it out, but other people won't be able to ride it out, like the operators at silicone manufacturing plants or chemical companies. I mean, they'll lose
well,
jobs
I
before
get
you
that,
will.
but I'm saying is the company. It's like they're trying to function in a 2022 society as if it's pre 2019. It just doesn't work. They're acting like everything's fine. It's not, and they don't see it. Not the individual people that work, but the company itself does not see the trouble that is happening. They're doing all these upgrades and they've got big things planned for 2023 that I guarantee you is probably going to bankrupt them.
I
It's
think they know something's coming, and the need for what you provide is going to become more and more, because there's going to be a
and
lot of,
that's the only thing I can think of as to
yeah,
why
they
to
know.
stay
They
here. Is
know.
like, did they what? Like I said last night, what do they know that I don't?
Just stay prepping. I'm telling you, ride it out, because I was able to do it through the Obama time there and other people. Yeah, just trust me. But you're gonna have to remember, we're in a game, and the veil has been lifted from you and I and Bushcraft, and so a lot of these people that are around us, yeah, they're actually people, but they're NPCs in our little world, and
Yeah.
you got to ignore these people. And you know what? How are we going to get people to be nicer to each other if we don't show kindness? How do we do that? We have to teach by example. Somebody's got to start from
Sometimes,
small things. Big things can come.
Jen, have you ever tried to like show kindness to a wall?
Yeah, I can actually do that probably.
Like, you
Yeah,
know what I
I've
mean? Like,
painted my wall different colors.
well, sometimes it's like talking to a wall, or sometimes it's like,
You just ignore them.
forgive my French, but dealing with brain dead morons.
Just remember, they're not your best buddies. They're not coming home to spend the night or spend the holidays with you. They're
Well,
only
no, I get that, but when
family
you're with
during.
these people 8 hours a day, it kind of wears on you.
Yeah, you just gotta kind of ignore them and find your happy bubble. And then they'll stay away from you unless they want some of that happiness, and they'll come around you and it'll rub off, and then maybe it'll rub off through the company. But people have to teach by example right now, and I feel like just being kind to everybody and anybody you can. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
People aren't doing it, and if somebody doesn't do it, I mean,
And okay, I try to be kind to people.
you
but-
are.
Okay, and the thing is, also, I'm getting at work. Where'd Jeff go?
Oh no. Do we
Um,
leave it off?
I try to be kind to people, but
Mhm.
they always remember last night I said, and now Ted, you're not going to know this because you didn't watch, but they always ask me, why am I so serious? This is just me. Like, can't you get over it? Like, I'm just me. I do nice things for people, and yeah, it's a little weird the way I show it, but you know, I'm still always there to back people up.
And that's the thing. Some people you can't change. They'll see you at one way no matter what you do.
Yeah.
It's don't try to change yourself to please somebody else.
Right.
And I've even my kids growing up, I've had a daughter that would change the way she would act, and she would like different football teams or basketball or whatever the case would be because her boyfriend liked that. And I said, you're lying to him and you're lying to yourself when
You're being fake.
you're creating a alternate you. And how can you guys grow together that way? And pretty soon they end up breaking up because they had nothing in common.
Now, one thing I've seen, and this is in work and in person life, like not on here, just everyday life. People look at you suspiciously now if you're any bit nice or normal, like actually let me put it this way, genuine, like
I think you have alternative motives.
right, they think that I have an alternative motive. Like, okay, my buddy at work, yeah, sometimes he falls short on his check and I give him a little bit of money to get him to the next day. He always pays me back, so this is kind of a thing we've had going on. Fine, as long as he pays me back, I don't give a shit. But if either way, that kind of shit, people are looking at me funny, like, why are you giving this guy money? Well, what if I was in that tight of a spot? Wouldn't like, do people not understand what it means to help somebody anymore?
Well, maybe that's where you should turn and look at them and say, "Why wouldn't I?"
What was it?
Let me ask you, what's so wrong with you that you have to think in that way?
No, they don't. They just look at you funny. They don't say anything. They just kind of like, oh, kind of look. Bushcraft, didn't you say the other day? Was it last night where this old lady fell down in the street and people would just drive by until you got out and picked them up? Was it?
Well, I was walking and I seen it happen because she was walking across the street and she stepped on the curb and her foot slipped off and she fell down and she was laying on the side of the road and cars were just driving back and forth past her, and I hurried up and ran uphill and helped her up, and she was the nicest, and she said, I can't believe no one stopped to help.
Well, okay, we can call this the Good Samaritan moment in the Bible, but what I just don't understand it. Where did the helping of a fellow man or woman or whatever go? Where did the manners? That's it. That's what I'm looking for. Where did the manners go? It's I know society is degrading. You can say all this. Well, that's what they want you to think. That's the way they want you to act. I get that.
Well, it has gotten worse since this thing has happened because they're not social anymore, except for it's on this thing. They're real social when it comes to this, but when they have to interact with somebody, it could be
What?
weeks. They're stuck in the house and they have stuff delivered to them. They don't go outside. They're big screen like the computer screen or the cell phone screen. The TVs are all automatic now,
I
or
mean,
smart
personally,
TV.
personally, I'll tell you this from experience: is it's driving me nuts.
You don't see that interaction anymore.
The thing
That's why I
is,
said when you go through the front of the Walmart and you see somebody coming out of the store and wanting to cross the street, you stop.
you
Normally,
kidding? I don't stop.
people would go like that. Thank you. That's
No,
what I
they
do.
just fucking walk out in front of you. I just
Yeah, they
continue
just
going through because they don't pay attention.
and there's no expression on their face. It's not like it's
No,
just they walk.
nothing's going on in their head.
There's nobody else out there. They don't want to talk to nobody because they're
And
afraid they're going to
okay,
catch something.
let me put it this way too. People at work are like, "What do you do outside of work? Do you go to the gym? Do you do this?" No, and no, no, and no. Why? Because there ain't nobody to go do this shit with. You know, nobody wants to go hang out. Nobody wants to go have a life like they normally would without the phones, without the, you know, actually go do shit. Like go
Hmm.
bowling or go whatever. It's not like that anymore. And they're like, well, you're just weird for not going out. It's like, dude, there's nothing left. Sorry.
And that's another thing is how do we know the stuff that was given to everybody? How do we know that's not affecting people
Right. It's
in a because you put chemicals, you mess with your body's chemicals, meaning in your brain and stuff, because you have to have so many chemicals, or one chemical be short, and you have no feeling, you care for nobody or anything
right.
like that. How do
It's
we know that stuff is not
okay.
messing with people?
Referencing the Transformers for a second here. G1 after the movie, okay, the original generation, they came up with a way to bring back Optimus Prime because so many people were upset that he died in the movie. Well, they came up with the plot of the hate plague. Well, this was a red thing, kind of looked like what we dealt with in past years. Uh, and it would make people hate each other. It spread to humans and the robots.
Hmm.
And again, Transformers predicting the future. How funny. Um,
Oh,
it's just lack of
that's a good
empathy.
one right there.
What's that? I like. It's like people have to become comfortably numb, or have become. Yes,
Yeah.
they have no emotions, and then when you do try to talk to them, you trigger them, and it's like they short circuit.
Oh
Ah!
yeah, it's like they the Karen factor.
Right, right.
And people used to disagree and have conversations about disagreeing about a subject. Now it almost goes to almost violent
Oh,
for certain conversations.
well, let me put it this way. At work, I've had, you know me, I've had many a political conversation with like one of the, I would say, decent friends. You know, he's on the other side, but me and him always agreed to disagree, and we never held anything against each other because we were mature enough to handle a debate. But everybody else, including my bosses, moved me out of that department because I talked too much in regards to the politics and all that crap. They didn't like having to think about these things or hear about these things. They just wanted me to shut up and do my job. You know, that kind of crap.
Yeah.
It's like, do you not understand how to think anymore? Critically think, you know?
Well, yeah, I was having a conversation because everybody knows on my thing pops up when somebody subs to my channel, Make America Great thing. And this person got that I was in a Discord with them, and they got upset because I would get that crap off of here. I don't want to hear that. And I'm like, well, what about him do you not like? Because for me, I don't like him as a person, but I like him as what he was doing for the country. But that's beside the point.
What I got today with me wearing my MAGA hat was America was never great. What are you like? Are you delusional? Like, do you not understand about the history of what happened? You know, prior, to the turn of the century. Yeah, there was their ups and downs, but it's like, do you understand where you live, what freedoms you have? You know,
Mhm.
comparatively speaking to the other parts of the world, do you not know what you're given?
They got a spoiled outlook.
Do you not know what people like me that do practice the Second Amendment on a daily basis stand in the gap of? I like to think that I'm an oath keeper to defend innocent people and to make sure the Second Amendment and those freedoms don't die. Like, they don't understand what they have, and it's going to be taken, and
Mhm.
then they'll be sorry. But they'll welcome it open arms. They'll be like, oh, this is a good thing, until they're lined up for the train car.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to go over and do my stuff here. So I will see y'all in a minute. Sorry to just bail on you, Bushcraft, but it's time. So, all right, I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yeah, it's that time. It's 9:00. Tin, did you say you were going to go live tonight?
I don't know. I haven't talked to the crew or anything. And then tomorrow night is New Year's, right?
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. And I guess the Nut House will be doing a live. So I will definitely not be live streaming. I will be over at Peanuts most likely. But
Okay.
if we go live, just follow us, you guys. I mean, if you want, no big. I'll catch you later. We just run down news.
Just keep your ears open.
Yeah, keep your ears open.
And like always, I'm going to leave you guys with our wonderful members, and also hats off to my mods for doing a great job. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll catch you on the next one.